study Bengal. So he saw the song books of the Bengalis, and he saw that the song actually had 7 lines. So in his songbook he translated the 7 lines. That was the first Hare Krishna songbook. Then the songbook was being distributed, but the devotees would only sing 5 lines, or 4 lines, not 7 lines. And then discussion came. No. In ISKCON, we only chant 4 lines. Because that's the way Prabhupada gave it to us. It's 4 lines. So even though the songbook had 7, we kept chanting 7. And so some people started wondering, wow, what is this? Why is this? So finally somebody asked Prabhupada, in the songbook there's 7 lines. Why are we only chanting 4 lines? Prabhupada said, oh, it's because I forgot the other 3. And then everybody started laughing. And then we chanted 7 lines also finally. So, simple little stories, but nevertheless they're so meaningful. There's another one, it's the chickpea story. The chickpea story. Now the Prabhupada, that was one of the biggest things in the old ISKCON days. It was called, What Do We Eat? And so Prabhupada was always asked by some devotees, what is it good to eat this? Is it good to eat that? And Prabhupada, according to the mood of the moment, he gave different instructions. But the devotees, as soon as Prabhupada was gone, they took it. Prabhupada said. And they sent it in mails all over. Prabhupada said this, Prabhupada said that. And then everybody had to change according to what Prabhupada said. Because we were his students, we didn't know anything about it, anything. So a few funny things happened there. One time Prabhupada said, again, he was annoyed because they kept bothering him. Prabhupada, what should we eat? So one said, Prabhupada, could you please tell us what we should eat? Come on, little dal, rice, chapatis, that's it. Why you make so much trouble about it? So Prabhupada said, little rice, dal, chapati. For some time, all the temples in ISKCON only ate little dal, rice, chapati. No more sabji, no more sweet rice, no more nothing, Because Prabhupada said. And then somebody went to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, did you say just little dal, rice, chapati? Huh? Nothing else we can eat? Prabhupada said, who said that? But you said it. No, come on. I just didn't want me to disturb. Another one was like that. In one occasion, one of these things, then there was saying, one person says, Prabhupada, is it good to eat sweets? Prabhupada said, I don't exactly know what question they asked him, but finally he said, for brahmachari it's definitely not very good to get many sweets. So then, no sweets for brahmacharis. Then, whenever sweets were made anywhere, they were only for grihasthas. Brahmacharis would get no more sweets. Until we had the brahmachari sweet revolution, which is not recorded in detail. No. And then one time, Prabhupada said, it's good to eat chickpeas. So then one devotee said, Prabhupada, chickpeas are very heavy. So then they said, yes, Prabhupada, we're very heavy. Yeah, then we sleep too much because of chickpeas. No. Then somebody asked, Prabhupada, how many chickpeas we should eat every day? Prabhupada, I don't know what he had in his mind, but he said something, 5 or 7. So that time, this is how silly we were, Actually, at the prasadam distribution, it went as far, here in Germany, here in Berlin, counted to chickpeas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Prabhupada said 5 chickpeas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got the chickpeas counted. At that time, the devotees used to fry the chickpeas. So, 5 fried chickpeas. Anyhow, so things happen in this world when one is not very profound. In the bhakti, in the path of bhakti, we hear karma mishra bhakta, the karma mishra bhakta, or the jnana mishra bhakta. Actually, in India, the word mishra is quite common. We know we have the father of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Jagannath Mishra. We have we also have Jagannath Mishra. Das. So Mishra actually means like khichdi, means mixed up. It's one of the meanings. In Sanskrit, the words often have many different meanings, but Mishra Bhakta means a Bhakta is quite mixed up. He's not so clear. He confuses things. And because of his confusion, he can also create confusions, misunderstandings. But who is not a Mishra Bhakta? Where is no mixture of some kind? Mixture with lust, mixture with name, fame, glory, spirit, mixture with speculations, mixture with thinking God to be Brahman, mixture with thinking that there's only one relationship with the Supreme, to serve Him, there's nothing else. There's all kind of mixtures. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, this has been dealt with. I think there's 81 mixtures, basic tenets, which is like, if I don't get it wrong now, this is the 3 modes of material nature. Through 3 by 3 makes 9, and then 9 by 9 makes 81. So there's 81 tenets. That's how I read it there. You remember that more detailed? It's in the Bhagavatam. So it's 81, and sometimes we forget these things. Like you, Halada told me a very beautiful interpretation of one of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, which I knew, but I didn't know in such details like he was telling him, the importance of what we can learn from a Leela. So sometimes we also forget these things. So this Mishra is quite explained, it's, I think in the 3rd canto, how the 3 modes of material nature mix up, creating different Mishra conditions inside the bhaktas. So, then where is pure bhakti? Where is this highest pure bhakti to be found, which we are longing for so much? How do we relieve ourselves from the dangers of the mixed up condition? Of course, we know that by chanting Hare Krishna and reading the Bhagavatam every day, because that's what it says. Nashta Praeshu Apadrishu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloki Bhakti Bhavati Nashtiki. By reading the Bhagavatam daily and rendering service to the devotees, to the pure devotee, all that is inauspicious within the heart is practically destroyed, and loving devotion and service becomes established in one's life as an irrevocable fact. Wow, what a shloka, no? This is like you could say a power shloka. Wow. You just chant, you read, but then there's one little thing which is you just. But this just is a very dangerous word. Because it means like, if I make my ritual this way, just this way, then I become an elevated devotee. But that's not the overall picture. That's not the picture of the nectar of devotion. It's also not the picture of the Upadeshamrita. Really, what picture is it? There is no just for self-realization. I wanted to clarify this. For example, some people say, oh yeah, we have Oida therapy. Oida therapy is a process simply to attack the fact that anybody minimizes faith as a superstitious attitude towards life, like kind of ridiculing this whole concept of I believe, I am happy. Like we believe in the deities, that's why we're sitting here. We are feeling happy here. We believe that we should read the Bhagavatam, so we have so many beliefs. We believe that chanting Hare Krishna is really good. So somebody can easily ridicule that. It's not difficult. And whole systems have ridiculed certain approaches. So the Oida therapy was really the next step in the Bhaktivedanta Institute soul research. The soul research is, first of all, the materialism says there isn't a soul. Soul doesn't exist. Then, why does soul not exist? Because it's just a chemical evolution. And because there's a chemical evolution, you don't need the soul. Okay. So that's another attack of Darwinistic survival of the strongest, the fittest. So why that one species go high and other go down? Survival of the fittest. So if we human beings now destroying all the other species of life, survival of the fittest. It's a natural thing. Why you worry about it? If all the dogs are killed in the street, why do you worry about it? Man doesn't want to have so many dogs, so they get them. Survival of the fittest. You know, it kind of justifies anything you want. No, anything which happens in life, survival of the fittest. That's materialism, you know, and you think justified. So then, Prabhupada very much made the case against Darwinism. Said that evolution actually takes place different. Yes, you can see the embryonic stages. You don't need to be a great biologist or a scientist. When you see the embryonic stages of a little lizard and you compare it to the embryonic stages of a human being, they look so similar. If you take a microscope picture and you don't know what level or what time of this evolution is, you go, this is another one. Well, no, this is a lizard and it's a human being, you know. Just depends what time you come in and put these together, no? So it's not so far-fetched to think that there's a real creators or creation combination where the chemicals are actually the ones who decide everything, you know? That's a worldview. It's an entire worldview. So, in the Bhagavatam, evolution is explained quite different. It's the evolution of consciousness. And the bodies, they're just the seed processes, no? And the seed processes are based on the ADN or the DNA, and this is how everything is regulated. And the person who discovered the human genome, he actually said the best proof of God's existence. He's the scientist who discovered it. He said the best proof of God's existence is the DNA, because that so much information of life can be contained in just this simple, or not simple, but into this connection of coding, that there is no information, there's no hard disk connected to it, like this is the hard disk for the lizard, this is a hard disk for a rhinoceros, this is a hard disk, no. It's just a DNA code and it's all contained in there. So he said this is the best proof that there is a top design behind everything. Anyhow, I got a little bit sidetracked. So Prabhupada made this point. Soul is reality. We have to go there. There's no question, there's no soul. But Bhaktivedanta Institute came to this level and then suspended it in a way. The gap from there to practicing Krishna consciousness, a huge gap. So Oida therapy fills that gap to the point of re-establishing the value and the validity of taking a path of faith. But it also teaches us about the dangers of faith, blind faith, and so Oida is like a very good training of common sense and reflecting on Mishra conditions, because it basically, the healing circle of the Oida therapy, it works upon the influences of Tama, Raja and Sattva, and how they produce different levels of consciousness. But then the final thing, like what's the purpose of Oida therapy? It's a very limited purpose. It just takes us to establish really that faith is reasonable and welcome and necessary. So that's why we call it healing faith. But it is, Oida therapy is not the path for self-realization. No way. No way. It never was meant to be. Some people, they didn't read the books carefully and they started speculating, then we have a new spiritual technique. It's not. The path of self-realization is given by God. Only He knows what's the path of self-realization, and He gives it to us through the mystic traditions. And there we can find, and so after Oida therapy, naturally, then Oida therapy will be supported by different spiritual instructions. Like in our case, we call it Oida Veda therapy, which we practice in the temples. Everybody lives in the temple, or who comes to the temple, or believes in Tulasi, or chants the mantra for Gopeshwar Mahadev to get into Vrindavan. We are all practicing Oida Veda therapy. Vrindavani Vanipate Jaya Soma Soma Mole Shanaka Shanandana Shanatana Naradedya Gopishwara Braja Vilasi Jugange Patme Prema Prayacha Nirupadi Namo Namaste. I worship this guardian, this doorkeeper of Vrindavan, who who's giving us this like the four Kumaras, who came and get the mercy of entrance to Vrindavan. This is by the mercy of Gopishwara and his Leela. Actually, this is not the precise translation. I forgot the precise translation. So when you believe in these things and you start living with this, like somebody made this beautiful altar here with the Ganges coming down on the head of Gopishwara. I mean, on one side you could say this is a very artistic rendering, but actually it's not. It's not an artistic rendering. It's actually like a Srimad Bhagavatam class. It tells us that how the holy water came into this world. And the holy water is that which sustains life, and so it's a very deep content that how Lord Shiva actually allowed the Ganges to come into this world. Actually means it's how water came into this world. So it's like, wow, you can go deeper and deeper and deeper into that story. All of a sudden we are in the very close to the spirit of the original ancestral beliefs, both in India as well as in the other ancient cultures, where water and the appearance of water is also considered something very holy. Just like rock is earth is fire, earth is life. I mean, it's like the Vedas there. This is why we call it ancestral wisdom. The ancestral wisdom is that which we got from the Apaulusheya, from the revealed scriptures. That's the value. That's the treasure which has come to us from our ancestors, from revelations given to the planet previously to us. No? Okay, somebody may say, well, what's the meaning? Can you prove this? Gopishwara, Ganga is the importance, and this is all in the world of faith. It all comes to us in the world of faith. So it's very interesting and very beautiful, very enhancing, very enlivening, but it is received in the world of faith when the open heart is there, when the appreciation is there. So that's the step further. And of course, when we preach Oida therapy, in particular, when we deal with Oida therapy, we are not talking about Oida Veda therapy, because we are not wanting to create an uncomfortable situation for people in general, that when I'm introducing the concept of faith, and I really want to kind of impose my faith. Because it's exactly where fundamentalism created so many problems in the world, that somebody says, it's my faith, and my faith is, if you don't accept my faith, you go to hell, and something. Actually, one of our devotees, very interesting, I just got this yesterday, one of our devotees, Vishwambar, in Italy, he just published a book called The Invention of Hell. And in this he presents the Theodora Justinian story, how reincarnation was eliminated in the Christian tradition by the condemnations of originalism. And he describes that actually I made that plan, there was a plan, now finally he published it, I'm very proud. We got this book out. And hopefully a movie will be made from it, but we already found the documentary, which I showed you the other day, of that same thing, which was already produced. So actually, Ishavasya, you can help me to these reincarnation topics with the Theodora. It is in Spanish and in English. It's on YouTube, and we can produce it on a CD that we can have it handy and give it to people if somebody is interested in the history of reincarnation.
I can give it to you. Should I give it to you, the email?
Yes. We can talk a little bit how to structure it, no? Maybe make a little menu for it, no? So that it's like a CD one can actually give to people. You want to know more about this topic of reincarnation. You know? So it's an interesting thing. At least
It's a German translation.
it's in English and Spanish. It's not in German yet.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so this book was made, and I got sidetracked now. Now, the fact that when you have a faith is beautiful, but if you impose your faith on others, that was the connection, no? So they invented hell, say reincarnation doesn't exist. If you're not a member of our church, you're condemned, and if you're not submitting to our church, we can kill you right now because you're already condemned. Your life has no value, so to speak. So any person, I mean, that's what human beings nowadays say about the animals. Your life has no value. If I like your fur, sorry pal, I take your head off and take your fur off and make my jacket. Your life has no value. If your money in my pocket, your life has no value. And that's carried into the fundamentalistic spirituality. Oh my God, what a scary thing. No wonder that people thought atheism was an evolution. They actually thought we are freeing ourselves from the monsters who tell your life has no value because you're not a Muslim. Now ISIS, or whatever they're called, they say, your life has no value because you don't belong to the ISIS. You may be a Muslim, but you know, how far does it go? How far this madness goes? The other day we were coming here from the Mela, and I saw there was a sign on the road which I hadn't seen before. It said, the Museum of the 30-Year War. 30-jährige Krieg. That's the 30-year wholesale slaughter of Catholics, of Protestants, and Protestants of Catholics. That's the smart background of our German Christian tradition, slaughtering each other. So your life has no value because you're not a Catholic. Your life has no value because you're a Jew. Your life has no value because you're a Roma, you're a gypsy. Your life has no value because you don't have a German passport. The man is so crazy, you know. Humanity is so unbelievably, obnoxiously, and dangerous. So we are trying to get to an evolution of spirit. So I personally feel wonderful because I was without faith, I was hopeless very much, and Prabhupada, he gave me such a beautiful faith which 40 years keeps me running around and thinking about and speaking about, and sometimes questioning it also, and also I have to question myself because, my God, I'm teaching others about the values of the Gita and all that, and then we finally will get another Gita, Haladas Gita, the poetry Gita we're longing for. Of course, we have other beautiful books, but we don't have our own Gita yet. So, in this way, yes, you're teaching the Gita. Yes, because I believe in the Gita, that's why I teach the Gita. Do you also realize the Gita? I don't really think so. Do you really know everything which is in the Gita? No, neither. Do you know everything in the Mahabharata? No. It's 200,000 verses, you know. There's so much teaching in the Mahabharata, and the Ramayana, and the Srimad Bhagavatam, and. Most people don't even have those books. Some of them, they don't even know the title. So I'm teaching this, I'm giving this. I'm trying to show to others what has captured my heart. So all these things, you know, this is the world of faith. But if you come and impose yourself on others, which is very often found. Even I remember we had one devotee, he was here in Berlin, you could not let him talk because he was so fanatic. He was part of our mission here in Berlin. He was so fanatic. After he gave a class, he drove the people right out of the door. So we always had to make sure he don't speak with the new friends, and like you always have to keep him aside. He couldn't contain himself. I said, yes, you have to chant Hare Krishna. You, if you don't chant Hare Krishna, you are lost. I mean, so in other words, we are not exception. There's no exemption for fanatism in our own court. So we have to also think very carefully what this is. I remember Prabhupada had, Prabhupada taught us, you're not this body, you're not this body. So one mother came to the temple to see her son. And the mother came and she saw the son all brahmachari dressed. It was in New York. My son, my son. And she came to hug her son. For God's sake, he said, please, mother, don't touch me. Yeah, because I'm brahmachari now. And I'm not this body. That was his first appreciations of the philosophy. I'm not this body, and I should not identify too much with father, mother, and all this type of things. I'm trying to transcend these. Like sometimes we call the family. We call them the fallible soldiers, meaning. They're nice, but they can't save you from the death. It's true. When we are dying, you call, my wife, come, I'm dying. She may come, but she can't save you from dying. That won't do the deal right there. No? Have to become attached to Krishna, and not to wife, and not to anybody else. So, but if you apply that, your mother comes and visits you, say, don't touch me, I don't want to be attached to my mother. That type of crazy things. When Prabhupada heard that, such a thing, he called the woman, the mother, and he called her and he said, now you offer your obeisances to your mother, and you apologize for what she did. And the devotee had to mother. So like, you have to see, it's a world. We have our little frame of mind, it's very conditioned. And sometimes, or not sometimes, it's usually our sense of our considering somehow our own superiority, which make us inclined to some fanatism. Because we want to feel that I'm better than you. Why? Because I'm a guardian of Mother Nature. And you are not. You are useless. You're not looking out for Mother Nature. So easy such a thing can arise in one's mind. Or, I'm a Hare Krishna. You're an agnostic. You mean you don't believe in anything? Oh God, terrible. You're not supposed to give such a feeling. This is not real. This is not a philosophy. Even Krishna says, I exposed all this knowledge to you, Arjuna. Now you act according to your conviction. Now you do what you feel is right. I just give you this idea, I just showed you what I know about to say about it. You see, different things, different times, different situations. But as far as religion is concerned, as far as world religions is concerned, they are highly respected in the world because they are highly powerful in the world, and they're also highly detrimental to the progress of the individual. They're highly productive of wholesale slaughters. So I don't really know how glorious that is, you know. Nevertheless, like, don't throw out the baby with the bath water. That's what the saying is. Don't throw out the baby with the bath water. In other words, yes, a little bit communism did that. They went against the religious teachings and the mystical tradition, like, well, you haven't done the job, you have created a lot of nonsense in this world, so now we just get rid of you and we teach. How was the song they were singing in the DDR? I heard that. It says, ohne Gott und Sonnenschein fahren wir die Ernte ein. That's a pretty silly song, I heard that they were singing that. Were they singing that?
Plakat.
Oh, it was a poster. Okay, I don't know that. I wasn't that, but I heard this rhyme. Anyhow, so it's understandable, no, that they overreacted in such a way. But of course, religion is much more than that. Religion is the origin of the human being's craving for his eternal existence. Always human beings have wanted and will be curious about what is invisible to the eye. So a lot of things, they're simply invisible to the eye, but they are realities we have to live with, or we are thankful that they exist. So, and from that comes whatever came as human beings, that language, books, poetry, music, philosophy, everything, this all evolved in and around the craving of the human being for transcendence. So in this way, it's not very nice to simply do away with the origin of our culture and as human beings just because some people have misused it. Now here comes an interesting point, and I think that is why we are reading these books every day, because they're announcing a totally different approach to life, which is Nirmatsaranam. The Bhagavatam is teaching us to go away from falsity and to submerge ourselves into love and truth. And that is our path. This is our only hope. Love and truth. So, that sounds sweet, no? Love and truth. Otherwise we get hooked up with some falsity. And as soon as we are surrounded by some falsity, that means we are suffering. So, Prabhupada was wonderful. Not everything which his disciples did was wonderful. For sure. We can say that. Bhagavad Gita is wonderful. Not everything which is practiced in Hinduism or in the name of Hinduism is wonderful. But what's the right understanding? What's the right interpretation? What's the right turn to take when there's several options to take this one, that one? More fanatic, less fanatic, no fanaticism. What's the right turn to take? It's not an easy decision always. Self-realization or forming community. I'm personally in the middle of it, and I do feel overburdened. I say, sorry. How can I do this? And for some reason, by Krishna's sweet will, and I consider this sweet will, I'm in the middle of forming community in Argentina. New Vrindavan. New Vrindavan is a kind of a joke. Because New Vrindavan, it's a little farm of 3 hectares land. It's not much. And it's flat. So you can see from one corner to the other, you see everything. It's just a little piece of land. Somewhere in the Pampa, outside of Buenos Aires. And that farm, that farm was an animal farm. They had chicken, pigs, maybe some cows, I don't know. And when we bought it was a big accomplishment to buy it because we had no money. As a matter of fact, Gurudeva Atulananda had to take some of his family's money to borrow so we could buy the farm at that time. Because even that time, I always had the feeling, preaching in Buenos Aires, preaching in Berlin, without going to the country, without seeing the trees, without greenery, without growing some food. No, thank you. So this is my own way. So whenever I started a temple in a city, I immediately look, how we can get out of this city. Is there any land somewhere close by where we can plant some trees and go there and chant in the shade of the tree and hopefully some water flows there, no? Anyhow, Buenos Aires is expensive, so we bought this land. And then we had no more money. As a matter of fact, we paid off this debt we had for the land over 10 years it took us to pay off. So we were not rich in that one. And since we had no money, we couldn't build houses on it. We were not so we turned the chicken house into the kitchen. We turned the pig house into the brahmachari ashram. Just like that, I'm not exaggerating. Some people, he knows, he lived there. We turned the place where they had the tools, where they kept all the farming equipment, we turned into a temple. Now we have a trolley there, but for years the temple was in the tool shed. And then we had 2 little houses, one for the men, one for the women. And this place, so insignificant, they're like forming community, I'm talking about community. This showed up in Lonely Planet, a tour guide. It showed up as the most important and most beautiful place to visit in Argentina. Well, this was largely due credit to Taku, who made a very, very, very big effort to bring volunteers there. And he made it in such a way that in this place we had 20, 30 volunteers every day from different parts of the world. And they all started writing in, this place is great, I had a great time there, it's really fantastic. Because how did the Lonely Planet come up with such a recommendation? Because they had so much feedback, because of course how many people give a feedback. So our teeny little farm became a top recommended site to visit. So community building, it's an unbelievable thing. I mean, we do something teeny, and it's so highly appreciated. Of course, it was hard work, and many devotees did hard work to do it. And even today, there's still no money. A little bit more than before. Now, because there's so many volunteers come, so they're giving some donations. And one time, one volunteer donated a car to us because he was sad that we had no car. South America devotees don't have cars for several reasons. Privately, they may have, but not the temples. It's a different world. No cars. Haridan Maharaj, he went Sankirtan all over Colombia. He went always the boxes of the books they were carrying by hand. When you take a big group for weeks out, there's lots of boxes. They did so much tapasya. Tapasya is really it's a key ingredient for success in spiritual life, human posterity. And like this, building community by the grace of Srila Prabhupada. So we just thought this way, it would be nice. And it was not easy, and it's still not easy. Chakrima? Chakrima? When we went to Mayville for the festivals with Halada and Shamamuhi, from the very first day when we went there, festival, Shamamuhini used to cook so wonderful prasada, and we would go there for 1 day or 2 days. Sometimes we slept there at night, and there was Halada knew everything, and like whatever there. We always had a great time. Chakrima, that was a piece of desert there. Nothing. There was no house, no bathroom, no electricity, nothing. Just a piece of land on the sea, which sometimes the ocean waters would run right into our land. That's a very tough place. I could tell you more. On the other side, irrigation is coming from the Shankai Valley, which is the reason why there's life in this area, because of this river. But it's very contaminated because they all use chemicals, irrigation channel upstream, and all the garbage they also throw into the irrigation channel. So really that thing comes like a horror thing. But there in Chakrima, the devotees lived in 5 sheets of steras, we call them there. The house in steras. Because what you do is they're like just sheets, bamboo sheets, very thin. And you put them up, and you put 4 of them up and leave a little hole for the door. That's your house. Of course, the climate, but don't think the climate in Chakrima is easy. The winters are very, very cold there. Very cold and very humid. The tapasya the devotees made in Chakrima is incomprehensible. And there was no food. When we got there was not one tree on the land. Only the owner, who was a very old man, over 90 years, Don Juan. He was living by sweet potatoes he was growing in the land. Just camote, they call it. So he was growing that sweet potatoes, he was living from that. When the devotees came, he said, 92, he was over 90. And he said, well, I can sell it to you, but you have to take care of me until I die. So the deal was, we gave him $5,000, and we promised him we'll take care of him. He didn't have papers for those lands either. It was just like, hey, hello. Okay, we'll keep it, okay. So it all went through, surprisingly. And Chaitanya Prabhu, Chaitanya Nita, he stayed there. And sometimes from the city, they brought some boga for him to eat something. In the beginning, and the devotees in Lima, they had just a teeny little place, so it was very austere. It was still an hour travel to go there. But in this way, slowly, we build it up. And Alberto Coyote, who's a very knowledgeable person of all the eco scene of all of America, he said in a class, there's no other eco farm he has ever seen like Chakrima. From that miserable situation of the beginning, it has arisen to international fame as a top eco farm of the eco village movement. Well, then when I see this type of development, it's fun. Let's do it. We like it. It has an incredible benefit. How many people? Gupta, she became a devotee there. Our Gupta. And Madhumanga, who was here from Sweden, he became a devotee there. So many people have come to know Krishna in those places. So, forming community, doing things like that, going to the country, making retreats, we don't know. But it was the concept of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada told us, go in the country and do nice things. Preach in the cities, yes. Publish books, yes. But he didn't say only that. He said, do something in the countryside. Make a beautiful setting. In Bulgaria, I want to make an Veda Park. Yeah, because we have the Veda Slovena in Bulgaria, the tradition of combining. We're actually original Bulgarian culture, Macedonian culture is full of Vedic informations. So very interesting. Suppressed by the Orthodox Church, but it's there. It's known. So in this way we want to make it nice. We want to make it. When? How? We try. Gopal knows I'm talking about this for the last 12 years, 10 years. And sometimes you have to be a dreamer. And dreams come true. Robin Williams, do you see this movie? Dreams come true. So some of my dreams have come true. Truly, dreams come true. Argentina, dreams come true. So many dreams can come true when Krishna gives the grace. But we have an ideal. We want to do something. We want to make something beautiful. We want to make schools with faith education values. The whole conception of how to make schools in this environment, in this hostile environment. But Oida therapy has given us a foundation, like the Avanti schools in England, which is based on Hindu tradition. But Oida therapy gives us a base, a foundation, where we can make a new thought altogether about how to educate and how to position ourselves in this world. Based on Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Whole world is one family. We all belong, we have a commitment with Mother Earth. And then Satvika, she has a little school program in Bulgaria. It's called the Flying Classroom, after Erich Kästner idea. And very beautiful. I saw some movies they made. I mean, how to educate people, how to make people happy, how to install faith in them. Very nice. Also yesterday, from our friends who were here the other night, they gave us the CD, how they bring some awareness about the animals into the children. This is faith education. This is really beautiful. So we are working on a new curriculum for life. We have to develop a new curriculum, a new way of farming, a new way of relating to the challenges of this world, because the world is a continuous challenge. Like, what's the capitalism was, like Halala was telling me, he was passing through 3 systems. The communistic system, the change time, and now the ruthless capitalism. But I remember when the communist changed, when the wall of Berlin fell, I remember it was a strong statement was given that communism failed to adopt a system which is already known to be a failure. Because capitalism as an exploitation of the resources at the maximum degree is already known. We already know it, that it's very detrimental. We are doing more harm than benefit to the planet and to the species and to our own species. So we need to practically come and, by the grace of Prabhupada and Krishna, find a new paradigm for life. That's a bit too much, you know. Sometimes we feel like lonely. Oh my God. And then we criticize each other. We get on each other's case, which is not very helpful. Because it's already such a burden to be in this process or in this world, or to raise a family, or to make money here. Woo! That's such a burden. But everyone has to solve the burden in one way or another. By making new paradigms, by creating schools, by having agriculture concepts, by having spiritual tourism formulas, and by solidarity, my friend. By an intense, incredible solidarity, which is very hard to come by. For me, solidarity, you know, I have a good experience. Because I work with Chileans and Argentinians together. Srivas knows that because he's from the border town, Mendoza. He knows that. In the Vrinda mission, you know, Chileans and Argentinians, they're always politically they have been put against each other. But in our mission, the Chileans have helped the Argentinians, and the Argentines have helped the Chileans, and we have an incredible friendship going on for 30 years. We are transcending rifts of this type. Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, all these silly, stupid border fights which have been created by the Americans by the divide and conquer concepts. Just like they divided India into Pakistan, Bangladesh and India, and created so much misery. So much misery by dividing unnecessarily the people. So this is going on, you know, we're fighting against so many horrible circumstances. Plenty of them. Have to be responsible. And somewhat also creative and fearless. That's what we have to do. At least that's what I have to do. But as I say, I feel overburdened. I see. Especially I feel sad when the devotees get on each other's case. Or when they kind of lose their joy. Because you have to have a certain joy to practice Krishna consciousness. I don't think you will have any joy practicing Krishna consciousness if you are not giving joy to others. So please watch it. Is your way of conducting yourself giving joy to others in your surroundings or not? If your activities are not giving joy to others, then don't expect any joy for yourself either. Even though I don't know what I'm doing, I still love it because I saw Prabhupada establishing New Vrindavan. And Srila Prabhupada's dimensions, I cannot reach, I cannot offer Prabhupada anything. His dimensions were 500 hectares here, 5,000 hectares there, in New Vrindavan, all the projects Prabhupada had, skyscraper in New York. We are struggling to get a little place in Berlin on the ground, And then 30 years later, Prabhupada made skyscrapers and mansions, and his dimension was incredible. In Africa, and this and this and this, everything. His vision was incredible. His schools were incredible. How could Prabhupada think that some Westerners would start giving some trouble to the children, which later became a scandal, so that practically they couldn't continue. Actually, some of the schools did continue, they still exist. The devotees hard struggled through and learned from the mistakes of the past. So it's like this. Anyhow, this is just, I'm just telling you these things, I'm sharing a little bit to you. You can get a feeling what I am experiencing. And I'm very grateful for all the things you do. I'm learning, and I want you to learn because we have to learn. What's tomorrow? Who knows? So many disasters in this world. But if the disasters come, they also must have some purpose. They will also teach us something. And if we just make sure that all the people around us are not sad because of us, then we already accomplished a good thing. Now, on the positive, if we are guaranteed that the people around us are more happy because of us, then if we can make the people around us more happy, then something must be right. Something must be growing, glowing, so that we have some hope to go on, because we still have a few years to run on our motor until this one is out, and then who knows what's next drama's theme, when we leave this drama's theme, and then which next drama theme we're going to be. Hopefully meeting all these beautiful acharyas there again, and all the beautiful devotees who we came across in our lifetime. Hopefully meet them again if Krishna wants. Actually, there's too many to meet again. But only Krishna can accommodate all the numbers. He's good with numbers. I'm not. So he can accommodate all this. It's really far out. Krishna consciousness is really far out. A far out experience. And it's supposed to take you far out of the material world. It's a kind of a slangish word, no? Oh, it's far out. Huh? But it's supposed to take you far out of the samsara, back to home, back to Godhead. So, go ahead, be fearless, and do what you can do. And if you can't do it, then be patient and try again. Because it doesn't always happen the first time. It may take more time. It maybe requires another type of thing. Like in Bulgaria, it almost looked like we had the farm in Happy Horses, no? It almost looked. And then drugs, horrible drugs, took it away from us again. Because of addiction to drugs. Because all the ideal was there, all the beautiful people were there, all the hope was there, even cows and horses were there. And Malini was there. Everything was there. But it's not totally gone. we met one devotee there, Gora Priya. She became a devotee and she's still on the. So you never know. Sometimes things are so slow. Maybe one day the man turns around because, okay, a piece of land, you can only really do it if you have in the name of Krishna. And that requires a good management of the local societies. Can you imagine you have a local society, you're not managing it well, and then the government comes one day and says, we take this away because you're not managing well? The governments are very much against other religions. I think I told you this other day, this gentleman in Bucaramanga, he gave me a special town hall reception and he was kicked out from the mayor position. So on the official side you can go and register, like I remember I think that was you, who registered the society in DDR. He actually went, that was you? So you have to tell the story. It's so good. I cannot believe it. That is my favorite story.
No, we just try it, but it doesn't happen.
Yeah, but you went and you filled out the form. You tell the whole thing.
Well, this was the father of this Gregor Gysi. He is now in the Linken Partei. But they say that we have enough trouble with the Buddhists, that some Buddhists are registered and they don't want to do it. But later on the police came and they capture us and they want to anklagen, or they want to say illegal building of groups or something. And we could say, what is illegal? We just. And the Staatssekretariat for Kirchenfragen, we just want to be registered, that's kind of illegal.
You know, he's not so good in storytelling. Actually, it's an unbelievable story. In the German Democratic Republic, which never was democratic to begin with, but because it was under the Russians' thumb, they had no religion. For what to do, there were some old religion, there were some churches, so they kind of tried to make deals with them. So they had one department, it was registration for religious groups.
Staatssekretariat für Kirchenfragen.
Oh, Staatssekretariat für Kirchenfragen. Kirchenfrage means Christian. If you have another Christian thing to register, or Kirchen they don't understand, means religion, okay? They had an office where nobody ever came in 20, 30 years, like an old desk, all dusty, maybe one person was there. And then these guys, these devotees, they had the idea, why don't we register our Krishna consciousness in the GDR? So he went there, he says, so we are the Hare Krishnas and we want to register, we have this book, we're following the spiritual master. And they said, what? You want to register? Yes, I want to register here. This is who we are. This is very... No, sir, we don't want to register. We don't register anything here, like he said. We already have enough trouble with Buddhists. So, that was on one side. On the other side, the Stasi, the secret police of East Berlin, was investigating. There's something going on. Some people take this to a book, maybe they got a book or whatever. Yeah, they got a book. And then they found out the address where Ishavasya was living together with somebody, or you lived there alone. There were other devotees also. They had an ashram. Hey, the first East Berlin ashram, because that was. So here comes the Stasi. Oh, we're gonna get these guys, this illegal conspiracy. No? He comes. BAM! What's going on here? And then he comes up. Yes. Can we be of any service? Illegal meetings, illegal religion. And he says, no, we're not illegal. What do you mean you're not illegal? I just went to to present it to your registration of Kirchenfragen. You can ask them. And they were so surprised, they were taken so by surprise, these guys, they tried to register. It's really hilarical, it's a historical. And later, actually that was, Premanini was the one who was investigated then, who was investigated by the Stasi, where they said they were reading Prabhupada's books, they had to study this. Was that you? Or?
No, it was the whole temple.
No, then they took the books.
The books and there was a group of Stasi people, they have to read it, what has happened. And
now they had to read Prabhupada's books as a Stasi service.
And I say then later on, I wrote a letter, please give back these books. They are legal imported in the GBR. This was not true, but I just say this. Please give back these books. They are in Deutsch, ja. Sind anerkanntes
internationales
jedes ernsthaften Indologen auch in der DDR und you have to give it back. And if your Interesse, wenn die verzögerte Rückgabe persönlichen Interessen entspringt, dann lege ich für interessierte Kollegen eine Bestellkarte dabei, wo sie beim WWG-Verlag die Bücher bestellen können.
Oh, this is so funny, you cannot believe it. So the Stasi took the books away, and he wrote them a letter saying, please, will you return those books? They're internationally acclaimed. Every Indologist can read them. They were legally brought in the country, which was not true, but he just said that. And please return them. And if the not returning of the books has some personal motivation on your side, I put a card where you can order your own books from the Western publishing house. I mean, it's just too much. And they gave them back. And he got all the books back from the Stasi. This is such a... but then there was the interview. I don't know, I think Sarah Baumer told that to me, where actually the policeman was reading the book and then they were saying, well, we want to know what this means. It says, you are not this body. What does it mean? Are you in the room or not? And then the devotee said, as I can remember, the devotee said, I have another thing more important to tell you than that. Oh, another one? What else? I'm not this body, and you are also not. Who made that interview? He was investigated that time.
No, we are put in the Kaiserstraße. That was the Polizeirevier. Da sind wir eine Nacht in ein paar Stunden in der Zelle, wo alles geritzt war, die ganze Nacht zum Verhör und wieder zurück.
The same time when they went to catch the books and they also arrested you, and Sarvabhauma was there in the place with you?
Yes. He just came back and they catch us and bring us.
So they arrested him also.
Together. There was a funny story that one want to eat something, some meat, vegetarian. Then he gives some Hungarian Pfirsiche, yeah? Oh, that could be nice. And I offer them, I don't know, 20 or 30 policemen.
They gave you peaches.
Yes.
The police gave you peaches.
I offer this, and just before this 20, 30...
There were 20 policemen around himself, and he first made an offering of the peaches.
And then one guy asked, what you are doing? And I offered to God. And then it was so funny. His eyes get a little bit, and he said, oh, my grandmother also make a cross on the bread. She cut it, everyone remembers the Lord if he eats from it. And I look at him, just see.
So when he made the offering of the peaches, the policeman said, what are you doing? I offered this food to God. It's a gift of God. And he went like, oh, my grandma, when she took the bread, she cut it to pieces and she made a cross. And she said, who eats this will be thinking of God. Oh. And he says, yeah, just see, the same thing with No, this actually has to be we have to make a movie of that. You yourself and Premanini, you have to tell the story, film it and enact it. It is too good of a story to be lost. And we are still the people who were there, because once this is being told by a third party and a fourth party, it doesn't carry the same power. So I request that you do that. Actually record, like document that time, what happened there. Can you do that, Ishavasya? It's a little tough. It's a little tough, but it's a part of the history of how Krishna came here. It's just, Narayan Maharaj, he had many stories to tell. Narayan Maharaj, he was like, because he went to Czechoslovakia, he went to Hungary, he went to Yugoslavia, he went to Transylvania. He had so many far out things, but still, this story is the most unique. And this is because everything was totally turned up because they went to register legally. With that they never thought. They thought we are persecuting some illegal thing here. And then they went and registered. When you're from Bulgaria, you can understand what that looks like in those days. You want to go to the government and register religion.
War der Generalstaatsanwalt der DDR im Haus, ja, und Premanidi, der war schon mal im Gefängnis wollte illegal abhauen, über die Ostsee mit dem Boot. Und die kannten sich dann, you are here, and no, it's going again to prison. And they want to put us in prison for a long time. They take away our Ausweis, ja, and they want to put us in prison, and only one day. And I'm sitting with a Stasi guy, and I offer him, I have some simply wonderful, and I want to, ich will sie nicht vergiften, und dann ich einen Mund gesteckt und
vor ihm hast du ein Simpli gegessen.
Ja. Und dann,
du warst aber gut ausgerüstet mit Simplis und allem.
Gut, fragt er mich einen Haufen Sachen und ich habe gesagt, über mein Leben wisst ihr besser Bescheid als ich selber. Über die Philosophie können wir gerne reden, aber und dann habe ich geschämtet. Und dann ich dachte so langsam kam so die Energie, die Wut hoch und dann trommelt er